Most women think Hermès is a two-bag story, the Birkin and the Kelly. A wait list you'll never get on and a price that was never meant for you. That is the story Hermès has spent 40 years telling, and it works beautifully. While you're standing outside looking at 2 doors that appear to be locked, there are actually 7, and most of them are already open. The women who actually get what they want from Hermès, the bags, the access, the relationship, they figured something out that most buyers never do. It has nothing to do with how much money they have. It is about knowing the access ladder, the rules the brand publishes nowhere and enforces everywhere. There are 7 levels. Most people only know 2 of them. The entry point, $400 to $2,000. Level 1 is the level Hermès barely acknowledges, and the one almost nobody outside this community knows exists. Here, you will find the Hermès A-Line, a canvas crossbody starting at around $1,100. The Herbag Zip, a 2-in-1 canvas and leather bag with interchangeable bodies, beginning at just over $2,500. The Steeple Tote and the Cabas H in bias, bags made primarily from canvas with leather trim that carry every single house code Hermès is famous for. The saddle stitching, the equestrian references, the craftsmanship, at a price point that requires no wait list, no sales associate relationship, and no spending history. What most people get wrong about this level is assuming these bags are a step down. They are not consolation prizes. They are the most honest bags in the entire Hermès catalog. The canvas construction is intentional. The lower price is not a compromise on the house's values. It is a different expression of them. A steeple tote in military canvas with a swift leather trim is a bag that will look better in 10 years than it does today. What Hermès won't advertise is that the sales associate who greets you while you're considering a canvas bag is already forming an opinion. The entry-level bags serve 2 purposes at once. They give you access to the house at a price that doesn't require a financial decision, and they give Hermès information about who you are. Begin here with confidence. The Daily Carry, $2,500 to $5,000. Level 2 is where Hermès leather starts in earnest, and honestly, where a lot of buyers land and stay because nobody showed them the rest of the map. The Evelyn 3, the Picotin Lock, the Garden Party Tote, the Halzan. These are non-quota bags, which is the first piece of Hermès vocabulary you need to understand. Quota bags are subject to limits. You cannot simply purchase them. Non-quota bags like the Picotin and the Evelyn can be offered at any visit, without restriction, and they do not count against your annual allocation. The Picotin 18 starts at approximately $3,000. It is a bucket bag with almost no structure, a signature padlock, and the kind of effortless practicality that makes it the most underrated bag in the entire house. The Evelyn 3 starts around $2,500. It is a crossbody with a perforated H on the front, originally designed for horse groomers to carry their equestrian tools. The H-shaped holes allowed wet equipment to dry inside the bag. That history is now carried on the body of one of Hermès's most wearable everyday pieces. And this is actually the sweet spot for daily life, something most people only realize after they've gone much further up this list. A Picotin 18 in a beautiful color of the season, in Clemence leather, will make you happier on a Tuesday morning than almost anything at a higher level. The women who really know Hermès own 2 or 3 bags from this tier and reach for them constantly. The women who skipped straight to chasing a quota bag often end up with something they're too nervous to actually use. At level 2, pick the Picotin in a color that genuinely excites you rather than defaulting to something safe. The relationship starts here, $5,000 to $10,000. Level 3 is where Hermès begins to watch you more carefully than you are watching it. The Constance, the Roulis, the Kelly Pochette, these bags sit in a grey zone that most beginners don't know exists. The Constance is one of the most misunderstood bags in the house. In some stores, it is treated as a quota bag. In others, it is not. It depends entirely on the store, the season, and the discretion of your sales associate. What that means in practice is this. The Constance is a bag you are offered when your sales associate decides you have earned it. The Constance is also, objectively, one of the most beautiful bags Hermès makes. A single flap, a signature H clasp, and a shoulder strap. This kind of minimalism that only exists at a high price point. It has been in continuous production since 1959. It does not follow trends because it has never needed to. This is also where your leather knowledge starts costing you real money if you don't have it. The difference between Epsom and Chèvre on a Constance defines the entire bag. Epsom is structured, scratch-resistant, and holds color in a cooler, more muted way. Chèvre goatskin has a slight luster, a supple softness, and absorbs color with an intensity that Epsom simply cannot match. A Constance in a bright color of chèvre looks like a painting. On Epsom, it looks polished and precise. Know your leather before you're standing in the store being asked. The Hermès game begins. $10,000 to $20,000 range. This is the level most people mean when they say they want a Hermès bag. The Birkin 30, the Birkin 25, the Kelly 25, standard leathers, Togo, Clemence, Epsom, in the colors Hermès has in regular rotation. This is where quota becomes real, and where the relationship with your sales associate stops being a pleasant transaction and starts being the entire point. So here is how it actually works, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. Hermès does not have a traditional waitlist. That system was abolished years ago. What they do have is a wish list. You can tell your sales associate the bag you want, but the wish list alone does not get you a bag. In markets like the US, Canada, and Paris especially, what shoppers consistently report is that being offered a quota bag is closely tied to your purchase history with the house. Build that relationship with one sales associate, stay consistent with them, and you are working the system the way it is actually designed to work. Your sales associate is keeping track. Every visit, every conversation, every purchase, when they feel the relationship is there, they will come to you. The scarcity of the Birkin and Kelly is entirely deliberate, managed with extraordinary precision for decades. In 2021, 2 customers sued Hermès in the US, alleging that requiring purchases before being offered a Birkin constituted an illegal tying arrangement. The case was eventually dismissed, but the filing alone confirmed what serious Hermès buyers already knew. The system is real, it is intentional, and it is working exactly as the house designed it to. The uncomfortable truth about level 4 is that the buyers who get offered quota bags most consistently are not always the ones who spent the most. They are the ones who were the most patient and genuinely interested in the house, not just the bag. Sales associate accounts describe customers who came in every few weeks are the customers who eventually receive a call. Approach this level as a relationship, not a transaction, and the timeline compresses remarkably. The collector range, $20,000 to $45,000. At level 5, you are no longer buying a bag. You are making a decision about what you want to own for the rest of your life. This is where the interesting leathers arrive. Togo gives way to box calf, the stiff, structured, high-shine leather that was the original Hermès leather, and that develops the most dramatic patina of anything the house produces. A box calf Kelly bought today will look completely different in 20 years. Darker, richer, shaped by use in a way no other leather can replicate. This is also where the rare colorways appear. Hermès releases seasonal colors each year. Some retire quietly. Others, Rose Tyrien, Bleu Brume, Vert Criquet, become reference points that collectors spend years searching for in the secondary market. At level 5, you are developing the taste to know which colors will matter and which will be forgotten by the following season. One thing that surprises almost every buyer at this stage, going smaller does not make it easier. The Birkin 25 and Kelly 25 are actually rarer than their larger counterparts. They require more precision in construction, more efficiency with the leather, and Hermès produces fewer of them. If you have been thinking a smaller size is a more accessible way in, it is the opposite. The best purchase at this level, if you are offered a choice, is a Kelly 28 in box calf in either black or gold. It is the more architectural of the 2 iconic silhouettes. Grace Kelly used one to shield her pregnancy from photographers on the cover of Life magazine in 1956. The bag was renamed that year. 68 years later, it has not been irrelevant for a single season. The Hermès Inner Circle, $45,000 to $250,000. Level 6 is where the arithmetic of luxury stops making sense to most people and starts making sense to a different kind of buyer entirely. Full exotic skins, crocodile porosus, niloticus, alligator, ostrich. These are not upgrades to the standard bag. They are fundamentally different objects, produced by a completely separate atelier within Hermès, by artisans who have trained specifically in exotic skin work for years before being permitted to complete a single piece. The Himalaya Birkin sits at the peak of this level, made from albino Nile crocodile skin, dyed by hand to graduate from smoky grey at the base to almost white at the top, imitating the snowline of the Himalayan mountains. The hardware is 18-karat white gold set with over 200 diamonds. In 2019, a 35-centimeter Himalaya Birkin sold at auction for over $500,000. There are estimated to be fewer than 10 in existence. Something worth knowing about these bags is most of them are not primarily worn. They are stored, insured, photographed, and occasionally shown. That is not a criticism. It is simply what happens when an object crosses the threshold from accessory to asset. A crocodile Birkin in braise, a deep dark red, purchased at retail today, will appreciate. It will outperform most traditional financial investments over a 10-year horizon. And reaching this level cannot be engineered by spending alone. The clients who get offered exotic quota bags have typically been in a genuine relationship with their sales associate for years. At level 7, the conversation changes completely. Here you find vintage Hermès pieces from the 1960s in box calf that has been discontinued in its original form. One-of-a-kind special orders, called horseshoe stamp or HSS, commissioned by clients who have reached a level of relationship with the house that allows them to specify leather, color, hardware, interior lining, and stitching combinations that have never existed before and will never be produced again. The So Black, an all-black Birkin with black lacquered hardware produced in extremely limited numbers and available almost exclusively on the secondary market at prices that bear no relationship to retail. And you find the archival pieces. A Kelly from 1958 with its original clochette, its original keys, and a provenance document that makes it as much a historical record as a bag. And the honest reality of level 7 is that a bag here will not feel meaningfully better on your arm than a level 5 bag. What it carries instead is rarity, history, and the eerie producibility of a time and craft that no longer exists in quite the same form. That is worth something, but it is worth something different from what made you fall in love with this house in the first place. Buy at level 7 if you are building a collection as a deliberate financial strategy, or if a specific piece speaks to you with a clarity that can't be argued with. Don't come here because you believe more expensive means more joy. It doesn't. Not at this altitude. So where does that actually leave you? The genuine entry point, the place where Hermès quality is most honestly represented at the most accessible price, is level 2, the Picatin, the Eveline 3. These bags will last your lifetime, carry the full weight of the house's craftsmanship, and can be purchased without strategy, without relationship building, and without sacrifice. If you are new to this world, begin here. Build your relationship at levels 2 and 3. Visit consistently. Be curious about more than the quota bags. Ask your sales associate about leathers and colors and the history behind pieces. Show them the person who is interested in the house, not just the prize. The timeline to a quota bag offer is not fixed, but the behavior that shortens it is well documented. When you reach level 4, know your leather. Know your color. Know whether you want structure or softness, formality or ease. The Birkin and the Kelly are not interchangeable. The Birkin is generous, open, faintly chaotic, a bag that carries your actual life. The Kelly is architectural, demanding and composed, a bag that shapes how you carry yourself around it. Unless you are building a collection with a financial horizon, level 7 is a fascinating world to understand and an expensive world to enter for the wrong reasons.